All right, y'all. I'm so excited because this is the part of the show where I get to take your calls. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your stories, and I love getting to talk to you. So we're going to kick off today with Ada in Huntsville, Alabama. Hey, Ada, how are you?
I'm great, Christy. How are you?
Great. What's going on?
Well, I've been reading through your book, and it is so good. And I'm just struggling with setting work goals through the lens of also being a wife and a mom of 4.
Okay. So let's talk about it. When you say work goals, what do you do, and what specific type of goals are you working on there?
Well, I'm in real estate and building as we go. It's been a phenomenal 2 years for me. We also homeschool our 4 girls that are 13 down to 6. And my husband's in the military, so it's a full plate all the time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So, okay, how long have you been in real estate?
2.5 years.
All right. What has that looked like? And you can give me the tactical side of this or even the emotional side of this. What has that looked like for the last 2.5 years up to this point? Because that's pretty crazy. You've been doing it this long already.
Right. It has been a roller coaster. You know, we all adjusted because I've been a stay-at-home mom for 12 years at that point. But I have amazing support that comes in and helps with the girls on days that I'm actively working. But it's a job that I'm kind of on call. You know, when a house comes on the market, it's got to be shown. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been a phenomenal blessing to our family, financially, of course. But it's definitely taken its own toll. And I love what I do. I'm at a place of really being selective of, hey, this is my process. Yeah. If you're willing to work within this process, let's do it. But I'm okay with turning business away.
Yeah. So when you say childcare, shoot me straight here. What kind of childcare? Do you have a nanny? Do you have babysitters? Do you have family? Who's helping the kids and who's homeschooling them when you're doing all this?
Well, we're getting up at 6 a.m. and knocking school out. My parents are here and super supportive, and then a very good friend of mine who also homeschooled her kids all the way through is helping 2 days a week.
Okay. So it's just kind of piecemealing it together. Everybody's jumping in there.
Absolutely.
Okay. So take me back to your original question. How do you set goals in your work? Yes.
And through the lens of I'm driven, and I absolutely love working more than I ever thought that I would.
I love that.
And so there's this, but it's fighting the feeling of selfishness. Yeah. And hey, Mama wants to go do all of this, and yet I have 5 summers left with my oldest. And I have a super supportive husband as long as he's in town. But just figuring out where it's pushing too far.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm hiring out housekeeping. I'm hiring, picking up groceries that I've ordered. You know, the little things where I can cut is huge.
Yeah.
But just what that looks like.
Okay. So I don't know if you've gotten to this part of the book yet, but one of the things I talk about in the book, and I talk about it just in life in general, is seasons. And so not just season in the context of your kids are little and you have, however many summers left and that type of thing, but even the seasons of the year. So real estate, for the most part, can be pretty seasonal, right? Like I'm assuming your springs and summers are busy and it slows down a little bit in the winter. Is that true?
It used to. It no longer does. Oh. I was busier October through January this last year than I have ever been.
Wow. Okay. All right. So back to your original question, how do you set goals? I think the biggest thing that you have to do, which is something that only you can do, Ada. I can't do this for you. This is something you have to do. But the good news is you don't do it alone. You're going to do this with your spouse. I think you need to define success. And so the challenge with kids is it's never enough time. I mean, they're always there. They're always being cute. They're always doing something new and amazing. And if you step away to show a house or, do something, you could miss something, a moment, a summer, whatever. And so what I would encourage you to do is define success in these different categories of your life. So define success with your kids. And as tactical as that sounds, say, what amount of hours, and even which specific hours, do I feel good that if I spend this amount of hours and these hours with my kids, that is winning. So I'm just going to make something up for you. I'm not saying this is right, but this is an example. I feel good if I have the evenings 5:30 to 7:30, for example. Or I feel good if I get in 20 hours a week with them. 20 hours a week is a lot. But what you're going to do is you're going to put a time frame on it not to put your kids in a box and micromanage them, but for your own peace of mind to say, this is success. And then I'm going to shape my schedule around this. And then the hours outside of these 20 hours or the 5 to 7 or whatever you determine success is that you spend in real estate is now guilt-free because you've defined success with your kids. I would do the same thing in real estate. What is success? Success is X amount of hours. And then when you spend those hours on real estate, you're not feeling guilty and like you're a victim and you're just reacting to the demands. And instead you're setting out intentionally to say, hey, no, I'm going to do this amount of hours here, this amount of hours here, and I'm going to make them work as much as you can within the constraints of your kid's schedule, your school schedule, your husband's schedule, and the real estate demand. Now, this may mean that you need to rethink your help. Because it may mean, hey, you know what would be a better use of my time? If I showed houses from 9 to 3, Monday through Friday, and I got someone else to come in and homeschool, or someone, a nanny, childcare teacher, someone in home, however you piece that together, and then your time is spent showing houses. I don't know what it looks like for you, but I think it comes down to defining success, because what we often do is we say, well, I'll do that when there's time left over, and there's never time left over. And we always have this narrative that we're coming from behind. We're never doing enough in real estate, never doing enough with our kids, never doing enough. But the one thing I want to encourage you is, Ada, before you had your kids, you had desires and strengths and gifts, and you still have those. Those
Absolutely.
are part of what make you you. It's not anything to feel guilty about. It's not anything you should be ashamed of. It is okay. The way that I say it often is, you can love your kids more than life and still want more for your life. You're not a bad woman or person for wanting to use your gifts in this way and wanting to provide for your family, even if you didn't even need the money. That you just do it because it gives you joy and you're helping people and making a difference. And so I think one of the things that could help you is to define success. Define success in your work. Define success with your kids. And of course, this needs to work from a practical standpoint around when your husband's home or not, what childcare you have come in or not. And so it's going to need to reflect those very real restraints, and some things may need to change. Maybe the hours that you show houses change. Maybe the hours you work on homeschool change. Maybe who does homeschool or what that looks like changes. But I just want to encourage you, you don't have to feel guilty for wanting to do more. And in the same light, if someone's listening right now or watching, you don't have to feel guilty if you don't want to do more. The thing that I posted on Instagram today is, what matters most is that you do what matters most to you. And everyone's different. Everyone's called to different types of work, different types of family, different stages and seasons of life. And I just want to help you figure that out for yourself. So I just encourage you, Ada, to define success. What amount of hours each week do you feel good working on real estate? What amount of hours do you feel good working with your kids? And then know that you can rest in the fact that you did what was right for you. It's a great question. I hope this encourages you. And the other thing is, I would just give yourself grace as your season changes. Let's say you have a great plan and then your husband is deployed and that plan needs to change. Or you had help and then the help gets sick and can't come and that plan needs to change. You have permission to change your mind, your plans, and your priorities. In fact, you should. Thanks for calling, Ada. I hope that helps you.